Does everyone remember when your biggest worry for your wedding day was a little rain? 2020 rolled through and was like, haha, you thought, you thought. Welcome to this video, welcome back to my YouTube channel, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is your first time tuning in. I am excited to film this video today because we're nearing the end of 2020, a year that brought a lot of unforeseen challenges, a lot of disruption to plans, and a lot of growth, I like to think. As I'm coming to the end of 2020, I'm really reflecting on this year, and for me, a huge part of 2020 was our wedding, or what was supposed to be our wedding. And if you haven't seen any of my other videos, I was supposed to marry my high school sweetheart in June, and of course that did not happen. We had like a 240 person guest list and a lot of big plans for that day at our dream venue, a venue I've been wanting to get married at since I was little. And that just wasn't in the cards for us this year. So we have postponed our wedding celebration to next year. And who knows what it will even look like next year. But through all of the change and through postponing and through a few other things that I'm going to talk about in this video, I have just learned so much about what really matters, especially around weddings and especially around big moments in your life, that you can get so caught up in the small details and the things that are out of your control that it takes away from what these moments are supposed to really be about. And so I'm going to explain my process of reflecting and growth and everything through my wedding planning and then postponing journey in this video. So if you're like me and you had to postpone your wedding in 2020, maybe this will feel good to see someone else going through what you did. Or maybe if you're planning a wedding for next year, it'll help you realize what is really important and just stop stressing about things that you have no control over. I don't know what this video will bring to you, but I'm excited to film it for you today. So hope that you enjoy it. Okay, so to get started here, again, I know that I posted other videos and I kind of just gave brief overview of what our wedding was supposed to be and that we're postponing it to next year, but surprise, we actually did end up getting married this year. I don't consider that day my wedding because of a few things, mainly because we didn't do any of the big traditions that we really believe in. We didn't say our vows to each other. We said vows that were kind of pre-written in your standard vows, which a lot of people, that's all they do, and that's awesome too. We just always have known that we wanted to write our own vows to each other, so we're saving that for our wedding next year. We didn't do the first dance to the song that we've been planning for years. We didn't do father-daughter dance, mother-son, cut the cake. I mean, so many little things that we just didn't do this year because we just wanted to get married this year. So we consider this year was our marriage, next year is our wedding celebration, and I think a lot of people are doing that. You get to just write your own rules this year, which is pretty cool, honestly. So I just wanted to reiterate that although we did postpone our wedding, we did get married. I do have a husband, but I'm just so excited to experience all those same feelings that I felt in June this year, in June next year, in just such a more heightened way with hopefully more people around us. This year we only ended up having about 15 loved ones because we were not breaking any rules. You could have, at that point, I think, up to 25 people in an establishment or something like that, and so we had 15 in this entire space, and we were spread out and all that good stuff. Also, I apologize if you can hear the leaves falling. I'm currently in my parents' backyard, so if you haven't been watching my other videos, it's different from my normal scenery here in our apartment that has like no lighting. I just wanted to be outside. It's a beautiful day, and I thought it was suiting for this video because I don't know, I feel like when I'm outside I'm able to really get in tune with how I'm feeling more so than when I'm inside. Who's with me? Is that weird? Probably. So essentially we decided to get married this year in what we like to think of as our little elopement ceremony, because we didn't tell anyone except the 15 people that were coming to the ceremony and then a few select other people, not because we wanted to hide it, but we just wanted everyone to think of next year as our wedding, and the ramp up and the excitement. We still wanted people to feel that next year, and we just wanted the ceremony to be about us. So on our 11-year anniversary, we got married. It was a Monday. We've been together again since freshman year of high school. So on our 11-year anniversary, we vowed to forever, and so it was super special and small and perfect, and there's a whole video on it, and I'll link it up here if you want to see how that went. Again, if you're someone that is supposed to have a wedding in the next few months and you're not sure what to do, that ceremony was perfect, especially if you don't have the desire to have a huge big wedding and you're feeling the pressure from other people. I'll tell you right now, that small 15-person ceremony, I wouldn't change a single thing about it. We just both have a few reasons why we still want to have our wedding next year. I want to wear my dress. I wore a different dress this year. Little things, but if you're struggling with deciding what you want to do, I encourage you to just really focus on what's important, and that's what I'm going to get into in this video, and what's important for you, not for everybody else around you, but you and your partner. So let's get into this video. So again, as I said, I have just been reflecting and thinking through what I've learned this year, and I think that through the wedding planning process and postponing our wedding, it taught me so much. And so even if this video is just for me to be able to look back on and remind myself that this was one of the most challenging years for not only you, but so many other people, there's still so much that can be learned through that. So, oh my God, a leaf just booped my head. Okay, so the first thing that I learned is that stress is inevitable. And I think a lot of brides especially really try to not be crazy, not be stressed, and just like put on an act like they're calm, cool, and collected. Like, we know you're not. We know that you have your moments, and that's okay. I think we need to normalize the stress that is just naturally with wedding planning. It's not even stressful because you're, as a bride or as a groom, expecting too much and it's not coming to fruition. It's just like there's so many people influencing every decision that you make, and it's stressful. And so what postponing our wedding really taught me is that stress is inevitable, but you have to try to find calming elements in the mix of your chaos. And through postponing a wedding a few weeks or 2 months before it was supposed to happen, it forced us to just be calm and focus on what is so important about a wedding. Like, we were told, okay, your wedding's not happening this year. What are you going to do about it? And what are you going to make sure remains part of your day this year, even though it's so much smaller? You're not having any of the things that you dreamed about. What is most important to you? And we really had to ask ourselves that, and it just calmed us. It allowed us to focus our energy on the people most important to us, and it allowed Jonathan and I to just be with each other the few weeks leading up to our ceremony this year, and just focus on how much we love each other and how much a pandemic's not going to stop us from getting married and being so happy to start our lives together. I mean, the morning of our wedding, you hear stories, oh my gosh, so many people say that the wedding goes by so fast, the wedding day, you don't remember everything, it's a blur. Me and Jonathan woke up, we got our coffee, we took a long beach walk, we reflected on our whole relationship. And it's not to say that the chaos that comes with your big day when it's a big celebration and it's not a 2020 wedding isn't perfect, but so many people told me that it's gonna be a blur, it's gonna go by so fast, savor every moment. Like, I didn't even have to tell myself to stop and savor every moment because I just was. And I think that's really beautiful, and I think that if anything, 2020 has taught us all to pause and focus on like what is actually important. And I don't know, I think that it's a lesson that I'll take with me for the rest of my life. Another leaf. Cutie. I just think that through this process, it taught me to take pause. I'm not someone that can take pause. I go full speed ahead with everything that I do, and I want it to be perfect, and I'm impulsive, and I'm a lot of things that I've always tried to work on, and 2020 was the year that really pushed you to work on things that you probably would never have had to really face about yourself, and it teaches you to really take pause, and I think that's super important. Good job! Jonathan is currently inside setting up furniture for our new house. He's dancing on the nightstand right now. We got a house, and that will be a video that we're actually going to be posting next week about our process to buy a house. We move in less than 3 weeks. So excited. Oh, my coffee. Hi. Hello. What are you doing? I don't know if I even finished my thought before Jonathan and Dobby came outside, but essentially 2020 has just taught me to take a breather and focus on what is so important, especially around your wedding day, because you only get to do it once and you don't want to regret anything, and you want to savor every single moment. I can tell you from someone that had to make a lot of changes last minute to big plans I had, and it really didn't matter at all on that day, and every day afterwards I didn't regret a single thing. You're marrying your best friend, and that's literally all that matters. So okay, and then the next point on my list, or whatever, something that I learned through this experience, is a little less deep, but still carries a lot of weight in what we learned through this process, and it is that your vendors rely on you so much more than you think when you are planning your wedding. You hire people to help your dream come true of how you picture your day, the things you want, and I think it's so easy to get caught up in all of that and forget that you are your vendor's livelihood. You are so important to them, and we were fortunate enough to have vendors that were so much more than our vendors. They really felt like family throughout this whole process, especially with the change. Some of them we kept for a few different things that we had this year. Some of them were, you know, we didn't use this year, like our makeup and hair artists. We did all that ourselves this year, and we're excited to use them next year. But everyone was so kind to us through the process and so understanding, and Jonathan and I were sure to reciprocate that to them, even with contracts and with things that, you know, we had to respect and understand on their end, because they're suffering too. It's not just about you, and I think that's a huge lesson that we learned through this pandemic and through postponing our wedding, is that we're not the only people that are going through something right now. And vendors especially, all of our vendors rely on big events and rely on celebrations, and that got put on pause pretty much this whole year. And so just being understanding and being kind, it's just so important to respect your vendors and include them in your day and make them feel special, and that way it just all feels good. It feels good to pay them what they deserve because you had such a great experience. And I don't know, I think I just really truthfully never made the connection, I guess, between our vendors and our wedding, like emotionally. Like I just beforehand just thought, okay, we need to do this, check it off the list, we need to hire these people, check it off the list. But when you really realize that you mean so much to them financially and just in general, yeah. So just something that we learned was that vendors are incredible, and they help you bring your visions to life for your special day. So treat them the way they deserve to be treated, and remember that they are so important and you are their livelihood. I can't stress that enough. So just a small little piece to this puzzle of reflection that I'm doing on this wedding. So the next, I was gonna say point on my list, but it's really not a list. I'm just kind of reflecting here with you all, and I hope that it makes sense. I'm always so jumbled, but there was a point in our wedding planning process where we were not sure if we were going to be able to still have a wedding in June, but we would have to sacrifice our bachelorette, our bridal showers, and all these things that that we didn't realize meant so much to us, to be honest. When we were planning even the bachelorette, I was like, we'll just go somewhere local, I'll just hang out with my girlfriends. And for the bridal shower, I just remember complaining to like my mom, like, I don't want to do like open the gifts in front of everybody, I don't want to do like blah blah blah. And I don't know, it's as it got closer to our wedding day and we were realizing we were going to lose all of these things that we took for granted beforehand, we realized that we did care so much about the small traditions. And I just think that's just such a lesson that you don't realize what you care about until it's taken from you. And we just as people take so much for granted, and I have just learned to, again, take pause and really ask myself, okay, if this opportunity was taken from me, would I care? Because right now I'm kind of taking it for granted and not focusing on how important it will be, like for a bridal shower, to get together with just a group of women, the most important women in my life, and celebrate the love that I have with my future husband. And I don't know, I think that it's just with weddings, there's so many traditions and things you just have to do. Check it off the list. Okay, I know I have to do that. Check it off the list. And it's like, no, these things are actually so important and so meaningful. Sometimes you realize the importance of things after they're no longer an option for you. And I think that is transferable to so many areas of life. I think that we're approaching holiday season, and to be honest, like, how many of you think about it, it's like November, or maybe it's after Thanksgiving, where you're just like, oh, so many gifts I have to buy, I have the stress of going to so many parties, I don't know, or maybe you're always so excited about that. But I know that I get trapped in getting overwhelmed with things and not focusing on what is really so important about traditions and about big parts of life, that I've just learned to not get so overwhelmed about the small things that I'm really so grateful for, but the gratitude is just concealed by the stress. And I am trying to pull back that layer of stress and just like be grateful and be appreciative of things, because they can so quickly be taken from you. And having our wedding taken from us just a few weeks before it was supposed to happen really taught me that. Okay, I moved my camera because the sun was poking and it is quite bright. It's so crazy. It's November in New England right now, and it's like real feel of like 73. It's so nice. So basically, I am just saying that the next time you get stressed about some sort of upcoming experience, ask yourself if you're taking this experience for granted and how you would feel if the experience was no longer available to you. Like going to family celebrations, like, you know, all the things that we realized we can't do in 2020 and we miss now. Hopefully we all carry that with us forward when the world is healed. And we don't get so stressed out about things that we're really just taking for granted. So hope that all made sense. But again, my own reflection makes sense to me, so putting it out there. Okay, so next on my list here is that naturally, when you get engaged, you get excited and you start planning quickly and you make impulsive decisions. I certainly did. And really there was no reason for it. I mean, I got engaged and our wedding was like a year and like 3 months later or something. I had time, but you get excited and you want to make decisions so you can look forward to it. And again, check it off the list. And I guess what this taught me is that I made a lot of impulsive decisions on small things for the wedding that I didn't need to make so quickly. And now I have another year to rethink the choices that I made for our wedding, and I'm doing a lot of it differently because I have time to really change and refresh my ideas. And so I guess my advice is just, you can book things quickly. I understand that things book up fast, but don't be impulsive. Like really think about your wedding and think about what you want to remember 20 years from now, 40 years from now, and realize that a quick decision lasts a lifetime. So think through the decisions that you're making for your wedding, and if anything, postponing a wedding allows us to create a new vision, again focusing on what's going to be most important and putting our money into things that is going to really make the day memorable, and not just materialistic or whatever. And those things are important too. You do you make your wedding vision come true, but I think don't be impulsive. I was, and this has just taught me that in retrospect, I made decisions too quickly, and I'm excited to kind of change up what I envisioned for our special day. So that, again, something else that I learned, and I'm gonna carry into other parts of my life too. Just something else that we learned through this process. Another experience that I had this year that really afforded me the opportunity to learn about what's most important was actually attending another wedding. So I know this video is about me postponing a wedding and what I learned and all of that, but really a huge eye-opener for me was attending my best friend's wedding, which was a micro wedding. It was in her now husband's backyard, and it was just, you know, I was so consumed with my own experiences and postponing our wedding and what I was learning from that experience and getting stressed about. And as much as I was telling myself that it's okay to just focus on what's important, it's okay that things are changing, it's okay that, you know, your dream wedding isn't happening or whatever, I think that really attending her wedding was the most incredible experience for me of 2020, honestly. I felt so much love that day and so much happiness for her and her husband that it just really confirmed for me that a wedding is what you make it, and a wedding is about two people committing to each other forever. And although this wedding was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, it was so about them, and obviously there were so many parts of it that were or could have been sad if you thought about it. I mean, she didn't get to have all of her bridal party, she didn't get to have some people from her family that I know she would have wanted there, but she was so happy all day, she was glowing, and everyone there was just so focused on them. That's what our lives are about. They're about making the best of really hard situations, and if you can't do that, then you're gonna have a really hard time getting through phases of your life. And so I don't know, I just am so grateful for that experience. I'm grateful that she was able to have me and Jonathan there. We've been best friends for, God, well over a decade, and so yeah, so again, if anything else that you can take from this video is that every celebration you go to from now on, every wedding, every birthday, family event, holiday, just take a look around throughout the day and appreciate the littlest moments. Appreciate your grandmother talking to the youngest baby in the room. Appreciate, I don't know, the small little parts of life that are just taken for granted. And I don't know, I just, at that wedding, I just really took some time to look around and be grateful for so much that was not part of her original plan, but was so beautiful. And so that's something else that postponing my own wedding has taught me, is just to be more observant and grateful of all the little moments in life that are so special. So who knows what next year is going to bring, and even if we don't get to have our big original wedding celebration that we pictured, that's okay. Again, I think if anything, as much as we're hoping that we can do the things that we've always wanted to do in our, or on our rather, wedding day, this has just taught us that we're gonna be okay with however it turns out. We're gonna be having our wedding in June, and whether it's still really small, I wanna wear my dress, I want to write the vows that I've pictured saying to Jonathan since I've been friggin' 15 years old. I want all of that. I want to dance with my dad, and I want to do all those small things that you can still do no matter the size of your wedding. And so that's what's important, and that's what this year has taught me and has taught Jonathan. And I mean, who gets to get married twice? We're literally celebrating our 1-year marriage anniversary by having a wedding. It's 2 days different. So we got married on June 22nd of this year, and we're having our big wedding celebration on June 24th of next year. And that's pretty amazing. And it's different, and we're just writing our own story here, and we're gonna be happy with whatever we're gonna be happy with wherever the story takes us. And so I hope that this video was helpful or was a reminder to let go of the things that are out of your control and focus on the good. There's so much good that is still in 2020, that is still to come, and you know, we have so much to be grateful for. And I try to remind myself that I am not great at it always. I have my bad days where I forget that there's a lot to be grateful for, and I'm human. But this year has definitely put a lot into perspective for me, for my husband, and we're just making it up as we go, and that's all we can do. So thanks for watching another video. I hope that you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next week.